Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-bam. It's Monday. Hello, hello, and it's time to brighten your day. And guess what? It's not Dawn sitting next to me, is it? Hello, Reverend Tony. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. How are you, Nick?
I'm not so bad, not so bad. So thank you so much for joining the Brighten Your Day SPtv family.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to the show.
Always happy to have you, Tony, on the show. And of course, it's not the only show we do together. We might as well get a plug in for that as well. You know, it's nice to bookend people's week.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is, you know, what we really do. But thank you for joining. And of course, we have a wonderful SPtv family joining us today for a really action-packed show, it has to be said. So let's remember the key words here are share, like, and subscribe to the SPtv Facebook page. Don't forget there's a website. And we'll talk about leaving reviews in a bit later on when it comes to the competition. But yes, please remember to share, because we won't be giving out any messages until we hit 25 shares. That's the law now. That's the one.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Oh, no. Right. So there's something going on with Facebook, everybody, and we will keep mentioning this through the show. Facebook has started asking for stars to be sent to SPtv. We are not doing that. We would never do that, and we don't do that. We will work it out from our end here somehow, but ignore it. We are not asking you. Rich has just noticed it come up on the screen, and he's gone absolutely nuclear because it's something we don't do on SPtv. Never have, never will. It's just not something we do. So ignore it. We're not going to ask you for stars.
No, some people do. Some people do.
Some people do, and that's fair dues.
But that's not us.
That's not what we do. So, you know, if we'd have chosen to have asked for that, it would have been different. But we haven't. So having it forced upon us is a little bit stinky. We don't have that. No forcefulness. No forcefulness. But no, please remember that the law is, of course, to share 25 times, which doesn't cost you anything.
Not at all. It's free.
It is. So before we say hello to everyone watching at home, Tony, for those that have been living under a shell, who are you? What's your name? And where do you come from? I wanted to say that.
Like you don't know, Nick. No, I'm Tony Swindell. I've been a medium for about 10 years now. Before a long time before lockdown, I bumped into some random person who brought me into the Christian spiritual way of life. And we've been friends, I dare say, now for 5-ish years, Nick.
Easily. And absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. You're my friend before everything else, mate. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Definitely. But we just sort of clicked, and yeah, here I am. I was ordained 2 years ago now.
Yes.
And Nick and I joined together and made the Independent Spiritual Alliance.
Yes, absolutely. And it's such fun. And it's already been noticed. Why does nobody ever notice that I've got a new shirt or that I've had my hair cut? But everyone notices the nails. Stacey Thompson. Love it.
Thank you, Stacey. Yes. I'm trying to hide them because they're a bit of a mess and I need to do them after the show.
That's the wonderful thing about being on camera. It can cover up what you can see better than what we can. That's the only reason I don't look 97 this morning.
I've got the bulldog clip attached.
Friends.
Mum, I've gone lavender.
Lavender.
It's lavender, apparently.
So hello to Mother as well.
Yes.
Asking if Tony's gone pink. So who's out there in SPtv land making sure they subscribe, they like, and they share?
Or
Limo.
even, I was going to say, or even join the VIP club, as I did.
Yes. How much is that again?
Is it about 37p?
37p a week. I know, it's great, isn't it?
It's brilliant value.
I'm losing my status as Queen of the Links. I've got to get flowing here. Good morning to Limo. How you doing? She's saying hello to you. She's not saying hello to me. So really, you should have taken it.
Oh yeah. Hello. Millie, it's not Dawn. I'm afraid you stuck with me.
Millie, good morning. And I know that Dawn will be pleased to see you.
Marissa
Serafino, good to see you from Northern California, no less. Truly international field today.
Indeed. That's the great thing about doing something like this, isn't it? I mean, you're not doing a church is fine. You've got the local people and it's wonderful, and I love the groups we do. But when you come online, you can reach so much further and spread the love and brighten everybody's day.
Absolutely. Just like Kim Byrne here, for example, watching on our YouTube channel, which there also is for those that don't know.
Indeed.
And who's this?
Karen White.
Hello.
Hi.
And she's really excited that she's got a picture of herself and Michael McIntyre on her Facebook page.
Oh gosh, yeah.
She went and met him at a show.
Wow.
She's got his autograph tattoo.
That's amazing.
Jacqueline Mercer, good morning to you as well, all the way from
Belfast. Belfast. Amazing. Gina, hello from Boston.
Which one?
Lincolnshire or America. San Francisco Bay, Marissa.
Wow.
And sharing the love and the light, as we try to do every day.
Certainly is. And Vivacious Virgo. Wonderful name. Love that handle.
That is amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
But I know if Dawn watches the playback, she's going to be asking a very important question. Where are the purple hearts, my lovely? She's going to want purple hearts with her healing. Vianello, Tracy, hello from Cape Town.
Wow.
We are getting it about, my friends.
Just a bit. Oh, I love Wiltshire, Helen. I love Wiltshire. And I love that dress. Wow. Yes. Very pink.
Not quite my size, but
probably not mine either.
Do you know what? I have to admit, pink really clashes with my skin tone. I tried once before.
Pamela, you're just down the road. Literally.
Wow, neighbours.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that you and Tony were so close.
I'm not going to sing the song when you said neighbours. It was there. I nearly did.
Kendra Hawkins, good morning to you. And I know that Dawn's going to be over the moon with those 7.
Have you seen the amount of purple hearts that are going up in the comments section? That is brilliant.
It really is. It really is. Thank you, everybody. I know Dawn will be over the moon.
Yeah. Eva, hello. Good morning. Eva. Tulips.
Oh yes, tulips and daisies. Let's not forget that there are plenty of wonderful flowers this time of year. And Rebecca Whelan, of course. Another 7 purple hearts from Rebecca. Good morning.
Yeah. Cool. Kendra, Middlesbrough. I'm originally from just up the road from Middlesbrough.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Well, yes, because to be fair, you don't have that much of a Yorkshire accent.
No, it's.
To be fair, my other half who grew up in Kingsland's got more of a Yorkshire accent.
Gosh, how many, Kelly? How many hearts is that?
17 from Kelly Henderson.
Wow.
17 purple hearts. You got noticed.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Natalie, hello.
Yeah, Natalie, that's
welcome.
Good to see you all. And anyone else who we haven't mentioned yet, like Vicky Palmer, who's given us another 7. Good morning to the lovely, lovely lot of you. And there's Christine Davis. I wondered where you were, darling. Good morning. Good morning. She's gone purpley flower.
Wow, Chrissy. Bravo.
You win the internet today, Chrissy. You win the internet. That's a good one. We loves it. We loves it.
Yeah, we do indeed. We do indeed.
Oh,
Shelley, thank you.
Good morning, Shelley. Welcome, Shelley Stewart. We are her favourite boys. Isn't that wonderful?
That's lovely. That's lovely.
Oh, and in actual fact, there's a connection. Paul Marshall.
Paul Marshall.
We're friends on Facebook, Tony.
I think we are, Paul. I think we are.
Small world, isn't it?
It's teeny tiny.
Teeny, teeny, teeny. Well, we better crack on with the show. Good morning to everyone so far, because we have got so much to do today, Tony. We have got Bib Charles coming on with her crystals. Whoa. We've got Kate May's tarot scope. We've got, of course, the adverts to let you know what's going on in the SPtv world. We have got awards to mention. We've got the competition to mention. We've got the VIP readings. And, of course, we need photos for our guest today. This is something a bit different. Now, we have got a lovely, lovely lady that we've been chatting to in the green room today. Her name is Jitka Fernandez Lopez, and she is a Feng Shui consultant. And we need photos. We need photos. So today's show, we have decided to go with the flow, is all about restyling yourself and your life, new starts, new beginnings, working wondrously with what you got. That's why I mentioned I actually am 97, not 47. And I'm actually not even 45 yet, so I don't know where that came from. But we are talking about working and restyling with your life, and how better to do that than work on the environment in which you're around. And we have wonderful Jitka here to do Feng Shui, but she needs to see your spaces. She needs to see your locales. So if you've got a room that you want to fix up, to deal with, to do, send a photograph in to photos@sptv.uk. It feels really, really official. We are definitely This Morning for Spiritualists now. Send your photos in, not photos that kids have drawn that look rude, but that would be funny too. Photos of your environment, your space, that Jitka can fix up, can give you advice and guidance and say, this is where this should go, this is where that should go, and let the energy flow. I have made use of some very menial Feng Shui principles in work that I've done when I've visited people, like getting them to hang crystals when there's more than 3 entranceways or windows in a row. I'm sure you will be able to put me right on that one if I'm doing it wrong when she comes back in, especially by that concerned frown that I got when I started talking about what one of the principles I use. Is he doing it right? We shall find out. So please, please, please send your photos in so that Jitka can have a look and tell you what to sort out, to make one. And so,
having a clear out.
Without further delay, let's be joined, shall we? Remember, of course, share. We want to see 20. Once we hit 25 shares, we can start giving out. Oh,
wow!
Oh, well done, everyone. We've already broke the target. Hey, well, keep sharing.
I was going to say that doesn't mean stop.
No,
we want
but
more.
It does mean that if we get drawn to someone, we can start giving you messages throughout the entire show. So stay tuned.
Indeed.
And I know Tony gets very, very drawn, don't you,
darling? I do. Yes.
So, Tony, who have we got today?
We have Jitka.
Are you?
Feng Shui consultant.
Way.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hey. So, tell us about yourself. How'd you get into it?
Okay, thank you. So firstly, thank you very much for having me on your show. It's a real pleasure. And as you already mentioned, I'm a Feng Shui consultant and I do traditional Feng Shui. How did I get into it? Well, my background is medical, and that probably says itself a little bit about, people want someone who can be caring, someone who can help them with their health issues. And that's what I always wanted to do, but I didn't find that it was enough. I didn't find that it was enough to help people in different aspects of life. So I came across a Feng Shui and I realized that one thing that connects us all is our environment, because it doesn't matter whether you live in a massive house, in a little flat, if you have a garden or a tent, you always are surrounded by an environment. And that connects us all and it has a big impact on us. So I started to study Feng Shui at the beginning, mostly just to see what I could do for myself, for my closest ones. And very quickly, I realized that actually it really is the key to all aspects of our life, that it's not just an art or science that can help you to arrange your house, but it's a way of living and understanding the ups and lives and also the downs in your life and how to deal with them. So I just thought it's a wonderful thing to share with you.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony spends much of his time in his caravan.
I do.
So you're obviously able, because you mentioned tents. If you can do a tent, you can do a caravan. So what things would you be looking for in a smaller space?
So in a small space, so just to kind of introduce a little bit, because I'm not sure how much our audience actually know about Feng Shui, there are a lot of different schools. It's a very old teaching. It's between 2,000 to 3,000 years old. That's an estimate. So you can imagine over that period of time, there was a lot of observations going into it, a lot of thoughts, a lot of calculations, and there's quite a lot of science that goes into it as well. And you can also imagine that our culture and environment and the way we lived in communities was very different at that time than it's in our modern lives. The good thing is that the Feng Shui, regardless which school you use, the principles remain the same and they can be adjusted to any time. 1,000 years ahead, we will still be able to use it. And that's, really amazing about it. It's very flexible. So when we talk about small spaces such as caravans, tents, little cottage houses, we are mostly looking at something that's called form school. So basically that's the main arrangement of your space, but it's also what you do around it. So for example, we would be looking in Tony's case, living in a caravan, we would be looking at how the caravan is set into the environment, which way it's facing, how is the internal space arranged, whether there is any greenery around, whether how we can connect it with the outside space, that it's kind of fluent, that it doesn't feel like, oh, I just stepped out of the caravan and right into a river or a road or something like that. But how do you make a smooth, balanced transition into that outside space, and how you bring the inside out and outside in?
Brilliant.
So literally you would Feng Shui the garden as well?
Yes, we can do that as well. We work on shaping projects. We work on, if you, for example, have a plot of land where you would like to build a house or anything else, a castle, a stable, everything can be Feng Shuied. Absolutely.
Wow, I didn't know that.
No, I'll be honest, I didn't either. It's learn something new every day.
Indeed, indeed. But just to pick up a little bit on what you've just said, the caravan has patio doors on the front of it, which is amazing because we put a deck on, and when you open the doors, it just feels so much brighter in the caravan because you can actually you can feel the air coming through and it feels connected.
Yes.
So yeah, brilliant.
Then that's one of aspects that's really important is that feel of connection. And in your case, Tony, you said it's, you know, caravan and you have a little patio. That's one of the things that are really great, because you create almost like an in-between space that creates that connection and kind of brings the yin and yang of the space together. But there are other places where it's not necessarily possible to do that. But then what you can do in a smaller things, for example, like the tents equivalent, you can perhaps adjust the direction of it that it's facing to create that same connection. So there is quite a lot that can be done.
Yeah.
So we need to take you camping with us just to know which direction to put.
Yeah,
that's excellent. Yeah, I hadn't even considered that. This is brilliant. So people at home, my friends, my lovelies, the SPtv family, fire your questions at photos@sptv.uk, but also your questions. For instance, I've got to ask, was I misled about the flow of energy being too fast when there's more than 2 or 3 doors in a row? Where does that come from, or have I got it wrong?
Yes, no, not quite. You are right about when you have a space where you've got, especially if you have the door directly one opposite each other. What the Chinese say is, you know, they speak about the term qi. Yeah. And I know we in kind of modern world translate it more as an energy, and there is a concept of energy behind it as well. But really in Feng Shui terms, the qi is a matter and its potential to become something while it remains in its physical state. So when you talked about the flow of qi in spaces like you just mentioned, a lot of doorways, long corridors, that kind of spaces, Feng Shui talks about what's called rush qi or sha qi. And basically it does mean that this space just cannot actually maintain the energy or the feeling of belonging, because as you said, the qi goes too quickly through it. So what you want to create is some kind of like a gentle mingling ways in that space, or something that will stop it. But stop it in the sense rather slowing it down than stopping it completely off flowing. So you mentioned, I think, Nick, that you were putting some crystals in the space. And you ask where that comes from. So there are 2 ways you can use crystals in Feng Shui. One, you can either use them in spaces where you know you need element of earth. And crystals is brilliant way, you know, they come from earth and come from really, really deep from the earth. So it's one of the ways you can utilize them that way, if that element is lacking in the space. The other way of why you're using crystals is not as much of a Feng Shui perspective, but you are simply placing an object that catches people's attention that enter that space. And effectively what you're doing with that, you're slowing down that qi flow so it doesn't rush through, but people mingle. They create that, you could say, imaginary almost way to walk through that space that would be otherwise rushed, because their eyesight wanders from one interesting and nice thing to another.
Oh,
wow.
Fascinating.
That is brilliant.
Shelley Stewart's just asked a question. What can you do if you can't change anything? Say, if you're in a hotel room, how could you improve that Feng Shui?
That's a really good question.
Brilliant.
A really good question, Shelley. And yeah, these situations are quite tricky. People often ask me that also if they are in rentals, for example, they can't paint the walls, they can't, you know, change effectively anything physically there. There are very few things that you can do. If it's a hotel room as such, you can potentially just move around the chair and table that's there. It's usually quite small, you know, coffee table, that kind of things you could move into slightly better area. Otherwise, when it comes to hotel rooms, you can't change things like your bedding, although you can, for example, bring with yourself a throw over the bed. So that's something where you change the energy, you change the color coding of the room. And obviously you never know whether color coding will support you or not. So you can always carry a throw with you, bed throw with you, that is in the color that supports you. And when you go to the hotel room, unless you go to sleep, you can just throw it over the bed and you've already changed that chi of the room. Good airing, so to make sure that you open the windows, you ventilate that space, again helps the good chi flow. And then little things you can do, for example, you can carry your favorite mug with you. Again, you're changing the color coding, you're changing the chi flow. If you are staying somewhere for longer period of time, let's say for more than one or couple of nights, you can also bring little items like crystals with you, for example. You know, or maybe a picture frame, tiny picture frame with your loved ones or family or children that you can place on the window. That's already changing the energy of that room.
Brilliant.
That is just a brilliant question, but an even equally brilliant answer. And it does explain, with my fascination of purple, my obsession with staying in one particular branded chain of hotels, which, you know, says a lot, because I do like that color. Wow, that's one thing I've noticed, Jitka, is the word belonging. That's come up numerous times, and that really does affect so much in your life. And Kelly's just asked, how do you sleep? How does your sleep affect your flow? I lay diagonally across the bed. Some might say I'm blocking myself from inviting a partner in. So that sense of ownership as well as belonging, is taking up the whole bed blocking other elements of your life? Do the way you sleep, does the way you sleep affect it? Or is there something else that perhaps, you know, not feeling comfortable in there, and, you know, you could improve with Feng Shui principles?
Yes, understand. I actually see two questions in this one question. So there are two aspects we can look at. So sleep, yes, it does affect the chi flow, but it also affects how the whole room actually supports you and how you then feel after you had your sleep. Do you feel rested, balanced, full of energy, or opposite? So the two aspects I would look at in this particular question is lying diagonally across the bed does not necessarily block your energy or block inviting the partners. Okay, it just means you've got space you can use and you're comfortable in your bed and you end up sleeping like that. And maybe you are also tuned to the energy and the way it circulates in your room. So you probably just kind of subconsciously tuning to that and you feel more comfortable lying in that position. So I wouldn't really worry too much about that. In terms of inviting the partner in, bedroom is really important space in your house or flat, and it does relate directly to our relationships, marriage, family, you know, offsprings, and that part of our lives. So in order to invite partner in, obviously there would be much more deeper analysis for me to do, looking at other aspects of your house and doing proper calculations. But the general advice for bedrooms, especially for single people or people who are looking for partners, is if you have a chance to have your bed against the wall, it's better than to have it, some bigger bedrooms have kind of bed in the middle and then have like a, you know, storage space behind it. It's better to have a wall behind the bed, or at least quite a high backrest, like a bed rest. So I'll explain a little bit later, if you like, where that comes from, but it's about creating that feeling of security and enclosure again and belongings. And the other way is not to have your bed dead center in the room. Okay, so I know it might look beautiful and symmetric, but reality is that our lives cannot be 50-50. Our lives work much better if we work more on 49-51%, on that kind of a balance. And if you look in the nature, if you look in the world population, actually there is never 50-50. It's always just ever so slightly over the center, and that actually helps with the overall balance much more. And rule number 3 for inviting partners, I would say, once you manage to put your bed just ever so slightly off the dead center, make sure that both sides are spacious enough to be able to just about walk there, or the spaces are kind of similar. Try not to have the bed completely against one wall, because each side, west and east, actually relates to male and female part in Feng Shui, or in Chinese we would be talking about a white tiger and azul dragon. So if you actually compress that one side against the wall, you are actually then blocking that energy that is inviting your female or male partner into your life.
Wow. This is one heck of a learning curve. I am loving this. Richard's just left the studio to go and have a look where he's headed. That's how much of an impact. Yeah. Now I actually have my bed against a wall one-sided, and it's as I'm laying head down there. It's this side of me that is against the wall. Which energy am I suppressing? It's because it's my left-hand side of the bed is against the wall.
Your left-hand side. And may I ask, is that north or west in your bed?
Let me just. That way is King's Lynn, so that's north. So that's going to be west.
That's north. That's your west.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pushing against the western wall.
Okay, so if you're pushing towards your right and towards your west, then you're probably suppressing more the female part.
Oh, that's fine. I don't mind. I don't need that.
Suppressing the white tiger part.
That's great. That makes a lot of sense for me, really, to be fair.
People do sometimes say, though, that if one part is long-term suppressed significantly, that they do find they can find that sometimes when the couple, for example, is in a bedroom, that they might cause some arguments, or they might find that it's a space where they tend to not interact with each other that much, also accounting for the private side of life. So those are things that quite often relates to it. If it's just a little bit, of course, again, it's about the balance. But if it's significant, over time, the people usually tend to feel it.
Oh, wow. Brilliant. I love that. That's fantastic. We've got a question here where we can actually give you something visual. Linda Brown has said, does my conservatory stop my flow? Here's the thing. You are currently looking at Linda Brown's conservatory, because it's where I'm working from. So I can actually get out the way. Don't worry, Richard. All branded stuff, and the painting is not facing the camera. So this is Mum's conservatory, Linda Brown's conservatory, I should say. So we've got 2 chairs and a table just over there. Let me go around this way. I have my working, there you go, you can say hello to yourself.
Hello.
I have my working table here. Right here with my microphone, and there's windows. It's an open top roof.
Okay.
A view of, and this is where I have to be careful. There we go. View of the garden, the shed out there with the patio and blah blah blah. Because I didn't realise, but now I have to show you the outside bit as well, how it connects with the rhubarb growing up there. So that's flip your back round and back on screen before Richard screams that you can't see the end. So what would your thoughts on that space be?
Okay, so I'll start with the original question. Does my conservatory stop my flow? Answer is no. Especially not in your case. It's well lit space. It's connected to the outside. There's a lot of glass, lot of windows for the light to come through. No, it's not blocking your flow. What would be blocking your flow if that space was overcrowded, and if that connection? I understand, Nick, behind you I can see a door, like a sliding door. Is that the entry to the house? I understand.
That's the entry to the house. Yeah.
Yes, lovely. So. Okay, perfect. So what you don't want to block is actually that door that goes to your house with the door that leads you from the conservatory into your garden. That line you want to keep completely free of any clutter, any furniture. So you don't need to do awkward movements in order to get out of your conservatory. As long as you keep that free, the rest is perfect.
So I've now got a table to move. table and the lamp, no problem. Excellent. And as a working environment, is it appropriate as a working environment, or is it more of a relaxing environment the way it's set up? What would your thoughts be on that?
I would say for working environment, I would swap you around the direction you're facing. You have behind you 2 doors effectively that leads to an open space. It's not ideal, neither for relaxing environment, neither for working environment. You usually want to have a little bit more control of your environment, and having the doors behind you and you don't know what's happening, if someone can come through, a bird can fly in, you wouldn't have control of that. So actually, if you were facing the other way around, seeing the doors and the entries, that would be much more better position.
So flip the layout. Excellent.
I'm thinking the same thing because I've got the door behind me, and
yes, you do.
Yeah. So, but we've always said that we don't like the desk against the wall, but the way we're configured at the minute, it is the only place we can put it. And when we had to all start working at home and things, we needed to get something set up.
Yes.
Did that actually affect a lot of people where you work? When the pandemic and everyone was locked at home, did that change the dynamic of what you had to do for helping people, or was it just you were more required?
No, overall, the request that I was getting was much more about, I need to work from home. I'm not feeling comfortably where I'm working from as a space. What can I do about it? So that was definitely much more prevalent question at that time.
Wow.
And, I really like what Tony said. I don't like the desk against the wall, but it's just there's no space. And this is such a common reaction. I think that one thing we are forgetting about, that we evolved over the time, and where the Feng Shui comes from, there is a principle so-called using 4 mystic animals or creating your own black turtle. People heard it with different terms, but effectively what it means, think of yourself walking into a big coffee shop, okay? Instinctively, naturally, without thinking of practicalities, where would you naturally go and sit to drink your coffee and relax? You'd probably not pick the right in the middle table that is surrounded by all the other tables and people, and you are exposed your back to everyone, right?
Yeah. No, you'd go to the edge and where you can see everything.
Exactly. Exactly. That's where the Feng Shui comes from, because it's all about, if you think 2000 years ago and the environment we lived in, we had to protect ourselves from the predators. We have to protect ourselves from, other people potentially in other communities. So you always wanted to know that you're safe behind. You don't need to keep an eye behind you, and you can have a control and good view on what's in front of you. And that's where the concept of the mystical animals came from. So the so-called black turtle, which represents the north and represents the stability and the shield that the turtle is wearing, is something that you want to reproduce in a way on a smaller scale. So that's why then you're not feeling comfortable, because you have your black turtle in front of you instead of behind you.
Yeah. Wow. Brilliant.
I'm going to have to be doing some moving around in a bit.
Me too. Me too.
Before you read Helen's question, there was something I noticed when you answered another question about the bed. Does that mean that we are basically because it's almost like you said when you lay on the bed, if you're laying at an angle, you're moving into the energy, into the chi. I've got to learn to stop saying energy now because that's not entirely correct. Does that mean that we're kind of like a compass for it?
Kind of, yes. I think, I'm not sure if I would call it quite an inbuilt compass, but it is, I think, an inbuilt ability of being safe. And it is a very elemental need for any human being, any mammal, any being to feel safe, and comfortable around people and in your environment. And I think over the 1,000 years, we still have that inside. It's just because of the modern buildings and modern world, we had to suppress it in a way to work with these tiny spaces. And quite often we are in a space we know we're not comfortable, we just don't know what to do about it, or there is no space for us to do something else. And that's when the Feng Shui comes in, is to go back to this original instinct and ability and see how we can make your environment safe and comfortable for you. Because then again, we come back to the word belonging. Then you feel like this is where I belong. This is where I'm, grounded and comfortable.
Fabulous, which ties very well.
It does. It does. Helen Mansell asks, how do I change the energy in my partner's home, which I'll be moving into soon, if he doesn't like the change? I want to know how to get rid of the negative energy. How do you do this?
Good. And it is a little tricky question, just simply because you have two people involved here. So genuinely moving into a new house or somebody else's house, obviously somebody else's house will always have much more imprint of the person that lived there before or is living there currently, because that person would have, again, made it to instinctively and intuitively what suits that person. So as for Helen, as a new person coming into this property, you need to make it your own at the same time. But if he doesn't like the change, well, that's where the tricky bit comes. It is about really having that conversation, because it's about two people living in the same space and sharing the family home effectively. So it's about having that conversation. How do I feel here at home? Rather than a visitor or a stranger, being here temporarily. How do I bring that permanent feeling here that this is our home now, not yours and me moving in, but our home? And again, one side of things would be doing proper analysis, looking at the elements and color coding and all that kind of things. But just very kind of quick overview from the form perspective without seeing actually the house, I would say, forget about kind of reasonable practical things. Just close your eyes, walk through that house and feel, where you feel comfortable. Feel how you feel in the bedroom, feel how you feel in the living room, feel how you feel in the main door when you just stand there with your eyes closed. And that internal compass that we talked about before will partially tell you if there is something just simply right or wrong. Doesn't need to tell you much more than that, because then if that space actually needs changing or not. And then it's something we could look into in much more details. But as for the bedroom, I already mentioned a few tricks that you can look in that space. Doesn't need to cost money, doesn't need redecorating. It's just simply looking at the distribution of the furniture, maybe a little bit juggling around things or items and the bed, and have that good backup behind you. When it comes to the main door, important thing is that it's well lit, it's can open properly, and it's all about feeling safe in there as well. So there are no hidden corners that strangers can hide behind, and again, just creating that feeling of safety. Again, there's much more to it that I could talk about, but I think Helen is adding something.
I want to introduce my good vibe and energy, as it's so negative everywhere.
Okay, so it seems like Helen is already tuned to that new space and is feeling the negativity of the space. That can be for different reasons. We could talk about obviously energetical imprints, but that's not exactly what the Feng Shui is about. So looking at it from Feng Shui perspective only, it just simply might be that the house is not in line with Helen. If both partners feel it, then the house is not in line with them either. Feng Shui has a way how to calculate whether the house and the person match together. It's kind of like a dating website. They look if you match or not, okay? And if you match, great. In this case, it sounds more likely that it doesn't match, because people tend to be quite intuitive and then they feel that they don't match. And then comes in place the 5 Chinese elements that can balance that relationship. They can make it much more harmonious. And they also look at the house as a living being and try to discover what is it that the house is not happy about and doesn't like, and how those elements can help to bring that balance and happiness for the people living in it.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Wow. So interesting.
Eunice, hello, my darling. So please, are you saying if we feel comfortable and at peace in our home, we have got it right? That's a really good question, actually.
Brilliant.
If you feel comfortable and at peace in your home, have you just nailed the principles?
It's very likely that most of the principles will be right, yes. So it's Feng Shui is a lot about feeling comfortable and at peace, absolutely. But it's also looking at aspects of your life, such as your family life, your marriage, your children, your health, and health talking, mental health, physical health, also financial health, you happy, your work, your career. Okay, so if you feel in peace and comfortable in your home, then that's great. It means that probably most of the things and elements are actually in a good balance and they are supporting you. If then you look farther and you start to think of all these other aspects of your life, and you find that one of them you've always been struggling with, then maybe it's just that one area that is out of balance and would be worth looking at it.
So in other words,
Wow.
a tune-up, you'd need a tune-up rather than an overhaul.
I do just want to add that the Feng Shui, it might sound a bit airy-fairy, and obviously there is a part of superstition in it because, you know, we're talking about Chinese texts 2,000 years old and not everything was possible to translate. But there is quite a lot of science behind Feng Shui, especially mathematics and physics. You know, it's using principles of Fibonacci, it's looking at Einstein's theory of relativity. So there's a really lot of actual facts behind it. So not everything is airy-fairy, and there are things that are simply logical and comes from physics. And those are the ones that, you know, we look at and we calculate and we make them better.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
I have to say, in our way of life, one of the most important things is evidence. And it doesn't have to be proof of survival in evidence. It's that sudden light bulb moment. And I think personally, for me, I'm sure Tony would agree, especially when it comes to, you know, the doors behind you and the going in the coffee shop, that for me was real evidence, because you just sit there and you think, oh yeah, it's like suddenly it all becomes obvious. So
Exactly.
Absolutely.
if I ever had any doubt, I don't anymore. And you know, I am actually going to plan a couple of hours to read. Come next Monday, everyone will know that I'm a man of my word, because everything will be different. I don't know whether I'm going to get a slap for that one or not. And we have a picture from Regan because she wants to rearrange her whole house right now. So it's time for a picture.
Oh,
amazing.
Yeah.
And so there.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Right, so over to you, Jitka.
Lovely. So I can see that it looks like we're looking at the living room space, and that's either a dining area. Yeah. Okay, that's a front door. All right. So from the outside, you come directly into the living area, living space. Okay, I don't see any other door just opposite the main door, and I don't know what's on the side where the picture is taken from. It looks like a window behind the table. Is that right?
Yeah. Looks like it. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. So is that on the side where the picture is taken from? Is there a wall, just a solid wall?
Regan, is
okay.
Regan,
Lovely.
is there? So she's standing in the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really important to understand where your solid walls are and where there is no more disturbance, where you would be constantly walking, and these are the paths you want to keep clear, as I mentioned in the next case. So these are the paths you want to keep really clear, no furniture in it, no needing to walk around in an awkward way around the, you know, chairs and tables. The table by the window is actually quite a good idea, especially if it's just for dining purposes and it's not a workspace, and also depending where that window is looking or what's overlooking outside. I can see there's a TV, and that's probably sofa seating area. If that person taking a picture is standing in the kitchen, that means that there is another pathway through those kind of chairs that will be probably quite frequently used, I'm guessing.
She's in the kitchen and the stairs going up for those.
Yeah.
Up there, okay.
Oh, right.
Only. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I needed to know. Okay, perfect. So what I would probably think of in this instance is that wall that has a window, but it doesn't seem to be any other door there. So perhaps I would start to think if we could maybe rearrange, actually swap the function of the room and have perhaps the dining closer to the kitchen side, okay, and create the living space more by the window. For two reasons. One, you connect kitchen with the function that it's designed for, which is you cook, you want to dine. So it's much closer rather than walking through your living room area, potentially people watching TV, you know, it's a bit of a disturbance. And two, that corner with the window will create completely separated what's called juji area. It's basically like a passive area of the space, and that passive area is best to take on the function of the room. So if this is a living room, that's where you sit, that's where you chat with people, that's where you watch your TV. You want that space to actually take the furniture that represents that function. While the other side is a little bit more compromised because of the doorway to the kitchen and that kind of constant movement. And that's area much better to use for temporary uses such as dining. So I would probably swap those two areas if possible.
So the front door to me is a walkway. The door is opposite the TV, and the lounge is in front of it. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It is about belonging, and it is about common sense and scientific principles. Yeah, I've heard you quote. I heard you quote earlier the Einsteins. But there's the law of thermodynamics is also a pretty big one in Feng Shui because literally matter and flow. This is awesome. And I'm sitting here thinking I recognise that room, and I now know that it's where we played Treasure Hunt last week.
Oh.
And the crutches have been found, so there we go. Magic. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Jitka. I've been sitting here making. I'm on to my 5th page of notes. It's brilliant. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm glad to help.
Wow.
I mean, sometimes
can we have you back at some point?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you come back for more?
Yes, absolutely. No, I would be glad.
That way, I can start flipping through extra rooms, and by the time we're done, I've got the whole house.
The whole house will be done. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is brilliant. Thank you so much, Jitka. Are you going to stay around for the rest of the show in case there are more questions?
Yes,
I've got to go back. When does this ever happen? I've got to flip back to find my list of what's going on today.
Oh.
Because we've got Bib Charles, we've got Kate May, and we've also got some readings to do as well. So absolutely brilliant. Jitka, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was fascinating.
Yeah, I've loved it.
So many people are saying I've really enjoyed this, and it's really interesting. And I did spot something where she said I wanted the bedroom done, but it was just a mess. That's the same. I keep shuffling because the ironing's just behind me.
See, I've actually got a really big throw that I just throw over my washing pile when I'm working, and it's behind me when I'm working in my bedroom. So, with the bed that crushes the female flow. So, friends, thank you all for the engagement as well. It's really, really
brilliant.
Great. But for now, let's for the first time today, we're going to go over and see the lovely Kate May for her tarot scope. And Tony, what was that line I told you? When it comes, go. The line about rolling something.
Oh, you mean the roll VT?
That's the one.
Yeah, roll VT.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my weekly tarot readings for each zodiac sign. My name is Kate May, Modern Day Mystic, and this starts from Monday the 20th of March, spring equinox. Okay, we're going to have a look at Aries. I'm using my Astro Tarot deck, which will be out soon. You can reach me on www.katemay.co.uk. But let's get in with it with Aries. 4 of Pentacles, Aries. Okay, this week, Aries, you're having to look after your money a little bit. You might be protecting your valuables, protecting yourself, and just being a bit cautious and a bit careful about what's coming in and what's going out. Remember though, don't be too tight and inflexible. Keep a little bit of a door open for you never know what. Taurus, the Hanged Man. Taurus, we have a week of thinking, a week of swaying back and forth. Now, this week you might find that you've got to see the bigger picture or look long term, not short term, and see things from a different angle. Perhaps you've got to make some sacrifices this week, Taurus, but look long and hard, think about it, don't make a rash decision. Gemini, King of Pentacles, great for business news, great for new adventures. Anything to do with material or money connections this week is going to be good for you. You could be looking at getting some advice or guidance from somebody in the know there, particularly good around property. Cancer, 5 of Cups. This week, Cancer, you're going to have to look at the cup half full, not half empty. You might be feeling extra sensitive, and you may have experienced some loss. However, there is light around the corner, and it's up to you to lift your head and see different views. Leo, the Fool, a brand new week of opportunities, new adventures, new things coming around the corner for you. Possibilities are endless. There may be a little bit of a risk coming up for you, Leo, but you're in the mood to take that risk, that leap of faith, and go forward. Virgos, Queen of Pentacles, you are using your resources this week, Virgos. You've got the money, you've got the security, you've got everything that you need to be able to take your life and your material aspects forward. Good news around businesses, good news around family, but using your resources to make things even better for you. Libra, the Tower. Big changes are coming in for you this week, Libra. You might find that things are a little bit rocky and that you've got to go through some sudden changes. However, the silver lining is that you're going to be able to rebuild everything, and perhaps things weren't steady in the first place. Scorpio, 10 of Swords. The difficult times are coming to an end, Scorpio. Lifestyle changes and karmic endings. Sometimes these are easier once we've come through them. So be kind to yourself this week. Accept a situation may not have worked out how you thought it would. However, the universe has your back, and there is still light at the end of the tunnel. But you must accept when something isn't working, it's time to close that door. Sagittarius, the 9 of Wands. Keep going, Saggies. You might feel like you've been going round and round in circles, banging your head against a brick wall. However, you are going to come out the other side. There's still a little bit more for you to do this week, so keep pushing forward. Don't give up. Capricorns, Page of Cups. Good news is coming in, Capricorns, particularly around emotions, around younger people or creative ventures. Think about some new opportunities there. You could be pleasantly surprised by unexpected news that connects you to a younger person and to your spiritual or emotional connections. Aquarius, the Queen of Cups. Keep a lid on your emotions, Aquarius, this week. You might find you could open a can of worms. However, it's best that you stay in control of everything. Put yourself first as well. It's all right being there for everyone else, but you can't pour from an empty cup. So this week, it's the time to nurture yourself, pay attention to your own emotions and your own needs. Trust your intuition as well. There are some psychic vibes happening for you this week, Aquarius. Pisces, 10 of Cups. Happy ever after, Pisces. You're loving life this week. This brings harmony, completion, everything that you wanted around an emotional connection. Your home life should be looking up and things are falling into place, giving you that sense of security, that sense of peace, and that sense of harmony. Good news is coming. Have a fabulous week, everyone.
And we're back. We're back.
Yay! Fabulous. And of course, we are still joined by the lovely Jitka, who's staying around for something special.
Yes.
So, Tony.
Yes, dear.
We have to tell people about our lovely competition.
We do. We do.
which the deadline for that is on the 27th of this month. So we've got 7 days.
Oh.
Now,
and what would I have to do to enter this competition, Nick?
In order to enter the competition, all you've got to do is go onto our Facebook page, the SPtv Facebook page, and leave a review to win, look, the wonderful Dragon Path Oracle card.
Ooh.
We had Caroline Mitchell on the show. I'm sure you remember, because I know you saw it. We had the lovely Caroline Mitchell on the show a few weeks back now. And all you've got to do is go into the review section of the Facebook page for a chance to win. They are gorgeous cards. Daryl, who is a regular contributor on SPtv, he's also in the workshop that Dawn and myself are doing on Friday nights at 8:30. After our show at 4 o'clock on a Friday.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He brought the Oracle cards in. They are gorgeous and really good quality, well made, perfect. So a great prize to win, and we will be giving those away to a lucky winner who is drawn at random from everyone who leaves a review. So
simple. Such an easy thing to do to win these beautiful cards.
It is. There's that comment that you mentioned from Regan earlier. I wanted my bedroom done, but it's a blooming mess.
A blooming mess. Yes, we'll paraphrase it. Yeah.
Excellent stuff. So, we're going to mix something a little bit up. Tony, have you been picking up anything from a certain young lady that's not too far from us yet?
A lady that might just be sort of over here somewhere.
Yeah. It's the other.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm pointing at Nick. No, he's not a lovely lady.
Just a grumpy old madam. Just a grumpy old madam.
Oh, it's such a good job people can't hear what's going on in our ears.
That's part of the fun for us, you know.
It is. Well, actually, as Jitka was talking, I was aware of a gentleman that was stood with me. And the gentleman that was stood with me, Jitka, he was giving me this sense of being a very proud gentleman and a very calm energy that would be around you. I feel he would have been connected to you from the heart center. So he would have been a family member, a close family member. And I feel very nurturing around you. So he would have been somebody who was involved in your growth and your development. And as he's given his energy with me, I'm aware that there would have been a tightness or a heaviness in the chest area. So there would have been some issues around the chest. I don't know if this was an illness he had or an asthma, because I feel like I need to get my asthma inhaler out and have a puff at it, because I'm feeling a bit difficult. So I can't get my words together. A difficulty with breathing. There would have been an issue with the lungs. Would you understand?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And I feel this gentleman, he's given me a lot of emotion and a lot of feelings through me. So I know he would have been an emotional bond with you as well. Okay. He's telling me that he's been around you a lot recently because you've been, how can I put this energy I've got? There's been lots going on in your head, and I know you, when we talked earlier behind the scenes, you said it was about clearing out and clearing clutter with Feng Shui as well, and I feel that's what he's saying about your head. You need to do that a bit to sort of pull things out and clear things, because it's okay. So he's telling me that there's a lot of stuff going on in your head that is outside of your control. Would you understand this? It's like you can't do anything about it. You can't influence it. You can't change it. So we stop going over and over and over it. Park it. It's there. You've got to think about it, but not to the levels you are, if you understand this. Okay. He's joined by a lady as well, and they've come side by side. So there would have been a connection with them, husband, wife, brother, sister, but a family member. but there's a connection with them. And she's a very different energy. She's given me quite a lot of energy and quite I call it a fizzy energy. So she's a lady who would have been bubbly and on the go and active all the time, where this gentleman's quite laid back, quite chilled, quite calm. All right. And she's telling me that I've got to give you physical healing for somebody in the family or somebody connected, but you've got to pass it on. So it's not for you specifically, but it's somebody that's connected with you that needs just a little bit of healing energy just now. I don't know what's going on, but there's something, and they're saying it's more of a physical healing. So for an illness rather than emotional support and upliftment. Of course, they bring that through as well, but it's more for the physical side of it. Okay. I'm not getting much else. They're telling me I've got to shut up and let him talk, shut up and let him talk. So I think I've got to pass you on to Nick now. But I'll jump in if anything else comes in.
Thank you very much, Tony.
I love working with Tony, because we do tend to link in and double up on the links. And I have to say, I was very drawn with the gentleman that was coming through. And I believe he was influencing the conversation earlier. Even though he is this very calming, very gentle man, very gentle influence, he also was an exceptionally talented and exceptionally skilled at arranging people and things on the quiet in a really subtle and loving way. Because I keep going back to this. He had such a love of the science side. He would have really loved the fact that you reference people like Einstein, for example. In actual fact, he might have even popped into your head when you were mentioning Einstein, because he is very much an inspiration to you and with you, and for you to be thinking of him while you work, so to speak, is that was where I was picking up that same feeling of absolute joy and pride. Thank you. It's absolutely everything that Tony said. I totally agree with. But that whole connection with the science and logic, when he just reminds you logic, and it's kind of like he wants you to use the logic to drown out the circular, looping. The loop of, I don't know whether he would have been aware or even an influence within your Feng Shui work, but the cheese looping. It's almost like, as Tony said, you're stuck on repeat. And he's the one who really can give you such a big way of just think about the things I said, because it will be you are aware of him. You are aware of him all the time. It's that moment when he comes in and has that influence with you. But very much, he wants me to say that he wants to remind you that there's something you've forgotten. There's something you've forgotten. So give me a second. Thank you. I don't know whether it's an anniversary of something that would have just been in the last, no more than the last week, but I feel like there's been something you've forgotten. So either it's an anniversary or, in actual fact, thank you, it feels more like something that can be of use in your situation. So there's something you've forgotten that would have happened or needed to have happened in the last week that could make good. This is making absolutely no sense to me, and I can't remember anything I'm saying, which means that they're definitely kind of taking me over. So I didn't do that joke, I promise. But yeah, he is so used to being an influence on your life. I don't feel like there's any. Oh, thank you. This is a tip or a hint. Ditch the middleman. Ditch the middleman.
Okay.
Because as a medium, I'm very much the middleman, and it's like I don't even feel part of the process of his information coming through. So I think the big tip for you from him would be to ditch. So if there's someone or something that's acting more as an intermediary or as a middleman, that would be the bit to move away from.
Okay.
Relating to that. So I hope that helps, and thank you for allowing us to actually work with you. On screen, because it can be quite, I mean, we've got someone, Angie is watching from Louisiana, so we are a truly international show today. Because so yes, we will be giving readings to viewers who are watching in not too long a time, actually. So it could be you, Lisa, from San Francisco.
Love the rainbow.
And love the rainbow. We do. We love San Francisco. We do. And Millie loves Jitka. So thank you for allowing us to work with you on behalf of the Spirit. And I hope that this gentleman is so in it. To in it to win. Sorry, that's my parting gift to you. In it to win it.
In it to win it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm gonna say, did it help? Did it make sense?
Yes, absolutely. To be honest, both of you, the way you were talking, I mean, I lost a lot of people throughout my life, unfortunately, already, but there were two specific people I was thinking of and that were coming to my mind. We're just trying to distinguish which one of them that might be. And it makes sense, everything you said, Tony, about the presence, and that person did have a lung cancer, actually. So you were absolutely right about that. And actually both people had a big influence on my life, and both were very much into science. Even that was long before I became a Feng Shui consultant, but yeah, absolutely. And what Nick said about, getting into it, not getting into the spiral of thoughts, I can see both of them actually saying that to myself as an advice. Like, stop thinking around things, just get on with it. So
go for it.
Yeah, go for it. I think, it's a good reminder in a way. Sometimes things, but you need to hear them from outside. So yeah, you brought me nearly to tears. Thank you.
Can I just say that the gentleman that I was working with has just come, and I've got the hairs are all stood up on my arms. He's come through. He wants me to tell you he's so proud. He's so proud of what you've done and what you've achieved, despite everything that's happened to you, if you understand that. He's just so pleased and so proud of everything you've done. And that's his parting gift for you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Bless you. Well done, T. Love it, love it, love it. And so, friends, we have someone else we need to roll right now. The lovely Bib Charles has got another input on our lives in the wonderful world of crystals, which once again can be made use of to tie in with everything we've been talking about today. So my turn. Actually, no. As guest, you get priority. What are you going to say to Richard this time?
Roll, VT.
Hello and welcome to the Crystal of the Week. I'm Bib Charles and I'm from the Crystal Empress, and I'm here to show you the Crystal of the Week. So this week's crystal is the wonderful, beautiful, calming, soothing, sensational aquamarine, as you can see here. So aquamarine normally comes in this beautiful pale green colour, also then crossing into a light blue colour. It is very similar looking to Amazonite, so making sure that you don't get them confused. The way that you can notice the difference is that Amazonite has shards of white, cloudy white mixed in with them, whereas aquamarine will be mainly all green or all blue or blue and green together. Okay, it's also the birthstone for March, so for Pisces, and February. So it runs from the 20th of February to the 20th of March under Pisces birthstone. Okay, so aquamarine actually works with your heart chakra and your throat chakra. It helps to heal aspects of your heart, and then transferring that then into your throat chakra. So how it does this is it forms a really gentle property and loving energy that it cleanses and heals the heart, and then moving up through to your throat chakra, which is your self-expression. Okay, so one of the properties of aquamarine and its physical ability on the physical body is that it actually works within your throat chakra to protect your larynx, and it helps protect you against thyroid problems, or if you have thyroid problems, it will help to generate a new release of like thought process with that. It also helps when you have sore throats, and just keeping all of this area clean. So those are the physical things that it helps with. But then going back to using it on a more energetic level, it helps with self-expression. So green represents personal growth, okay? And it also represents physical health. So when we are speaking, a lot of it comes up as that we are speaking from our own thought process, but we're maybe not actually really aware of what we're saying. So therefore we then come out in our physical world and we have issues with communicating over what we need, our needs are, to our partners, our relationships, our people around us. But that all goes straight back into the mind, where we actually don't really know, or we're confused, or there's some not being clear. So lack of clarity going on in our minds where we are confused. Okay, so it helps with confusion and mental clarity, and then communication. So it helps us sift through our own energetic field of what we are talking to ourselves in our internal dialogue, and then we then pass that over to other people. So it helps us then being heard with how we want to be heard in the physical world. Okay, so it is in history, it is also known that it has been taken into battles at sea to protect and win battles and protect them. So this is vital, the sea part, because it is connected. It is a sea orientated crystal, and it has a lot of elements from the sea. So the sea represents flushing out, detoxification. It's always renewing. Okay, it's going with the flow. So it helps you release those negative attitudes and energy that you have regarding certain things, to then forming a new thought process and going with the flow. So helping with transitions. Okay, and then also what this helps with is, for those of you who are sort of non-believers in 5G and electromagnetic pollutants, it helps with your protection with that. It is the go-to stone, aquamarine, for your protection from your 5G pollutants. Okay, because what it does is it acts as a shield for your energy field. Okay, anything ucky coming in, and it forms a calming, soothing release of energy, but by blocking that energy in the first place. So it releases it and then blocks. Okay, that's why I say that aquamarine is absolutely stunning and beautiful. It's such a calming, soothing stone, and it is definitely one for your collection. It is on the more pricey range of crystals to buy, but that is because of how it is sourced, and it's more on the more rare side of your crystals. If anyone is interested in any of these, please do hit up at the Crystal Empress on Facebook, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Okay, lots of love. Hope you all have a fantastic week and enjoyed the Crystal of the Week. Bye.
We're back.
We're back, baby.
Hey, the lovely Mr. T, right with me, loving it, and it's the love for Tony throughout the show. Thank you all for making Tony such a welcome and worthy co-host. It is brilliant to have you sharing the screen as always, Tony.
Yeah, lovely.
It's lovely to have Tony on here today. He lights up any live, doesn't he? And always sends out positive vibes. Of course, no offense to Dawn. And that comes from the lovely Chrissy. We know. And of course, please send your healing to Dawn, of course.
Yes, yes.
And Lisa says those fingernails are everything.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. That we'll play Guess the Colour for next time.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, you'll be joining me for a party on Friday. It's lovely to share the screen with you all, and we're doing it twice this week. It's brilliant.
It is. And the love for Bib and for Jitka, actually. Bib is so knowledgeable with crystals for hearts. Yeah,
she is
brilliant.
It's so wonderful to have all these wonderful people, and our regulars always chipping in, but also new. Brad Smith, great to catch up, first time in a while. Welcome back, my lovely friend. So let's see what else is going on in the wonderful world of SPtv. Let's see who's here this evening. Let's see what's going on in the world of SPtv with our ad break. So adverts, please. Mr. Richard, roll VT. And we will be back doing readings after this.
Yes, definitely.
Spiritual Psychics TV is hosting our annual recognition of achievements, acknowledging those who dedicate their lives through spiritual acts of kindness. Candidates can register and put themselves forward to be acknowledged. Viewers can also nominate who they feel should be recognized for an achievement. Exclusively broadcasted live on SPtv, with 100% of the public votes being announced on Saturday the 27th of May from 7:30 p.m. For more information, please visit awards.spiritualpsychicstv.online. Spiritual Psychics TV, bringing spiritual people together. Join Matt and Kirsty tonight from 8 p.m. The show consists of answering your spiritual questions and offering free mediumship and oracle card readings. Tomorrow night from 8 p.m., Deb Clark demonstrates her mediumship by offering free readings.
Hey,
We're
welcome
back.
Welcome back from the adverts.
The adverts are there telling you all about joining the lovely Matt and Kirsty tonight. And of course, Deb Clark tomorrow. Always brilliant to watch. And don't forget the awards. I know there was mentioned in the adverts. Keep nominating. Not long to go.
Limo is asking what's up with Dawn.
She's having a little operation today, so she couldn't be with us. So we do want healing sent her way, please.
Yes, definitely. Yes. She's in my. I made a note. She's in my healing books.
Fabulous.
Amazing.
So we did make a promise.
Yeah, we did. It's
time for some messages. So, how do you want to play it, Mr. T?
It's up to you. What would you normally do? I'll go along.
We tend to mix it up, but if we have names up on screen,
that's fine.
And then when you get drawn, if you get drawn to someone, just dive straight in with that name.
I will definitely. But I don't. No, I've got a gentleman with me. I'm just waiting to see who he wants to connect with. Who are you? Lisa, could I jump on with Lisa Holland, please?
Lisa Holland Boyles, you ask,
yes.
You receive.
Yeah. I'd love a reading in the rainbow. And as the rainbow caught my eye, this gentleman just linked really strongly with me. So let's see where we go, Lisa, please. This gentleman would have been, like I said to Jitka earlier, a nurturing energy in your life, a very helping you with growth and development and influence. And I feel you would have gone to this gentleman for advice and for help with situations. I don't really feel there would be a lot you couldn't talk to this man about, Lisa, if you understand, please. I want to say with this gentleman that he's around you at the moment because it's almost like he's got reins on you and he's steering you and trying to guide you. So there's something around you at the minute where you are unsure what to do, unsure which way to go, what decision to make, if that makes sense. And I feel he's saying to you, trust your gut. Why are you doubting yourself about things? Because you normally are very good at knowing exactly what you want to do and where you want to be. And at the minute, it feels a little bit like you're going round a roundabout in a car and you're not sure which exits you want to take, because, well, if I go there, then this could happen. And if I could go there, that could happen. And the words that are ringing in my head, Lisa, are sometimes you just got to make the best, worst decision you can, if that makes sense. Sometimes there isn't a choice, a positive choice. Sometimes there's just a choice where it's nah, and they're all a bit nah. So it's deciding which one is the least, not negative, but least worst choice, if that makes sense. We've all been there. I've been there. Nick's been there. Everybody's been there, where it's, oh God, there's no real way I really, really want to go, but I'll just pick that one because, you know. He's given me some dates, Lisa, and I'm really sorry. In the 10 and a bit years I've been doing this, I can be a little bit out a day or two either side, but he wants me to acknowledge around the 25th of a month for you, sweetheart, has been insignificant for a birth, an anniversary, or a passing. And I also want to give you the month of July for you, please. He's showing me that although things have felt a bit and not good recently, there is some positives. There are some green shoots I'm seeing coming up. So there are some new starts, some fresh starts for you, darling. And right, he is saying just bear with it, just bear with it. He knows you're reaching out, and he knows that you are pulling on their energies for support and for strength, but just know that they are there for you, please. And he's saying, I know it feels like it's been a real uphill struggle, but we're nearly there. We're nearly at the top where you can put the flag in and say, did it, I got to the top and I'm over it. So just bear with it, please, sweetheart. And I hope that's been all right for you. And I hope it's made a little bit of sense. I don't know if Nick's got anything to add to that, but
yeah, I was very much aware when you linked in. The gentleman, I don't know whether it's him or with you, Lisa, this vice-like grip on my head, and in actual fact, as I've been sitting here, I don't think I've ever done this online, let alone very often at all. But it's a little bit incomplete right now, but I'll probably finish it later. But I've actually just got to a point now where it may be. I just had to draw the gentleman that was with me.
Oh,
just had to draw the gentleman that was with me.
Look at that.
Sitting here scribbling. So I don't know whether you can understand that as well, Lisa, as connecting with this gentleman. What drew me, if you'll pardon the pun, what drew me to him was actually the eyes and around the eyes. I'm not the best artist in the universe, but I do feel that would connect with that gentleman as well. So I've never done that online. I do apologise. I literally just picked up the pen and just started scribbling away. So I apologise. It's on lined paper because it was totally unplanned. But I also know that with him, I'm getting really, really nagging, stabbing pains in my stomach area as well. Just below the diaphragm on what would be his left-hand side. So I don't know if that helps, and I hope that helps. And there you go. Once again, I'll just bring that back up for you. If you can accept that as being in connection, there you go.
I'm not getting names at all.
No, me neither. In actual fact, there is an element, and I don't know whether this is why I had to draw him instead. There is an element of confusion with him. My ears feel like they're buzzing, and I know that there's no hissing going on in the earphones.
No.
So I do feel this buzzing as well. So I don't know if you can recognise that image there, Lisa, but very much totally the sentiment and the meaning behind what Tony was saying. Completely, I second that. It's all about the meaning with this gentleman and the wanting to help. So you let us know if you can understand all of that.
Yeah. Please do.
Ooh. There we go. God bless you, my love. Hope that helps. Whew. Wasn't expecting to sit scribbling.
No. Very, very good drawing. I've got to say, it's
so long as it looks like somebody, you know. Okay.
Oh, Regan.
Right.
Regan's just put up a post. Go on, Nick.
Honestly, I really think Richard needs to. Oh, sorry. I honestly really think Richard needs to be nominated as the link that brings us as a community together. Richard, you may not call yourself a psychic. You may even see yourself as a little skeptical. Without this incredible group, we wouldn't have been able to all connect spiritually and grow for a lot. This is a healing group. Thank you, sir. You have changed many of our lives. Thank you. Thank you. Regan, do you know what? I'm going to say this, and he'll probably be a bit peeved with me. I totally agree. Oh, he was about to put me on mute. I actually completely agree with everything you've just said. The sentiment, the purpose, and the meaning behind it. I totally agree with you. Richard, however, will say this. It's not the reason he does it, and thank you, but he would delete any nomination for himself because he would, and that's the kind of guy he is. But I'm going to say something now. If you want to thank Richard for the work he does, which I know you will do, please, please, please keep sharing, getting the word out about SPtv. Tell people about the work he does. Share it. Share the links, share the shows that he does, not just ours, of course, but tonight with Matt and Kirsty, tomorrow with Deb. He is a very modest guy, and yes, he can be a little bit skeptical, but he's taught me so much. So I totally agree with you, Regan. He will not have any of it. He will not be nominated. Yeah, he triggers a dark night of the soul. Bless you.
I think that was the chat we were linking.
Yeah. Richard's a great guy, and he's so fun to be with. He kickstarts my Monday, and I also love winding him up with double meaning. So take that as you will. But he won't have a nomination in his name. But thank you, Regan, on behalf of us all.
And you could always. Yeah, you could always become a VIP member as well, which helps Richard keep the channel going, because it costs him. It comes out of his pocket, and if you just subscribe and become a member, it helps him with the upkeep and the running of the channel. The channels, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree, Tony. Totally agree. So, Regan, thank you. Good opportunity to say that.
Yeah, well definitely.
And now he's moving us swiftly on.
He is, yes. I'm just getting
compliments.
No.
So let's have some more names and see who else is about.
Stacey, healing to all, and especially to Dawn, please. Especially to Dawn. And Rebecca agrees with.
There's a name that I saw earlier that drew me, if I may. That's
Go on.
Jacqueline Mercer. Jacqueline. I actually thought I'd end up drawing at some point, but I didn't expect it to be for a reading. So, Jacqueline, as I link in for you, I'm very much aware that all of the previous symptoms disappear, which is always great because they get rid of anything that I've been feeling for a little while. But something that's really still with me that I know is not mine today because it doesn't feel the same, but would be with this lady. Thank you. Oh, that was quick. With this lady who's linking through. I've got a right pain in the neck. I don't know whether that is... and I'm not referring to Tony, in spite of what Richard might say. But I don't know whether the pain in the neck is either a physical pain that she would have been quite pronounced with either her or yourself, or it could be literally exactly what Richard was saying. In actual fact, I think because they do make use of Richard with the way I work now. It's great. I think there is a pain in the neck in your life right now. I would say, oh, it's gone. Yes, so it is. There is a pain in your neck at the moment, quite literally. This lady is coming through to help. Thank you. As she steps closer now, I'm feeling this. What is that feeling? There's this numbness. I just feel this real numbness here. I don't know whether you can understand that as a symptom that she would have experienced. And I do know that this lady was very restricted in movement, so I feel that she would have probably had either arthritic hands or something that would have slowed her down physically, because I can feel my hand moving really, really slow. Thank you. You understand this. Thank you, Jackie. Jacqueline, I do apologize. Use proper people's names. Thank you. This lady liked names being used properly. She would be really annoyed that I'm Nick rather than Nicholas. You know, if you're given a name, you're supposed to take that name. And, you know, so she was a very traditional lady in her way of thought. Not to say she was old-fashioned or fuddy-duddy. I just feel that she was very traditional and respect. Thank you. Respect, which is why she's come through with this pain in the neck comment, because she's really annoyed. Because thank you, darling. What she's telling me is that you are a deeply kind and helpful and wonderful person who does everything you can, and there are people that take advantage of that, which is where this pain in the neck comes in, I feel. And this lady was a huge defender of you. I'm not sure whether she would have been absolutely open and honest with you about her emotions or not. I feel a restriction with that, but she nonetheless really did want to, in her own way, defend you, either now as by way of making up for the lack of it, or simply that she just didn't know how. Thank you. Yes, she did. Thank you. But it may be that she feels that she didn't do enough, which is why she was amazed by life. She was amazed by life. Yes, 100%. Thank you, Jackie. Jacqueline, sorry. She is going to keep telling me off until I get it right, she says. I do feel that she would have used repetition when it comes to keeping people on the straight and narrow. I do feel, this is something new that I've been getting a lot lately, which is brilliant. She's making use of it. She was very aware of how to make use of things, people, and situation, because she's making good use. The warmth and the healing. I didn't used to get warmth in my hands for healing. It's just I was completely oblivious to what was going on. But since I quit smoking, actually, I've got circulation back. Circulation being important to mention with her. And I just feel this absolute warmth in my hands now. So I know she is wishing for healing for yourself. But once again, I'm going back to her sensations and her feelings of just being it's almost as though she felt slightly disconnected from the world, or maybe majorly disconnected from the world, actually, towards the end of her physical existence. But she never felt disconnected from you. You were her link to the physical world, and you still are, by the way. She wants you to know that she's here to support you, guide you, direct you. I do have to she did have a bit of a naughty sense of humour. You know, it's almost, oh, thank you, that dry sense of humour that I love so much, that could be a little bit, you know, misunderstood by some from time to time. And I do feel, thank you, there's either a either a watch, thank you, there's either a watch or a bracelet that I'm feeling wrapped around my arm right now, that could be a memory link, or even something that you have of hers. But most importantly, she wants you to know that she is here, constantly on your side, constantly. I don't know whether there would have been a slightly religious side to her, because she's just given me something that I'm very aware of in the other side of my life as a minister. I will be the lamp at your feet. I will be the lamp at your feet. So I don't know whether that is something literal, connecting her to that religious feeling, and that it was her own way of thinking. But she is the lamp at your feet, and I will say God bless you and ask if Tony's got... I think the way he was nodding and shaking in unison with... Oh, thank you. Yes, she did. Thank you, Jacqueline. And see, I finished by getting your name right. She got there in the end. Tony.
She did. Yeah, I completely agree with everything Nick's just said about the lady and the nature of her. I feel she was a lady who gave of herself, and that's the phrasing I wouldn't normally use, but it's how she's brought it through. She gave of herself, and you do that as well. And she's saying she doesn't want what has happened to you to change you as a person. Whatever this is that has happened is more about the other person or people, not about you. She doesn't want it to make you shut yourself off and alter you as a person, if that makes sense, because it makes no sense to me at all, but it doesn't have to. It's about you and not about me. She wants to reinforce what Nick said, and I always use the analogy of years ago in cinemas, they used to guide you to your seat with a torch. That's what she's doing. She's shining that light on what could be the pitfalls in your life and the trips and the slips that we all go through, but she's saying yours have been deeper pitfalls than other people's, and she's been there to pick you up and to guide you. She wants to acknowledge the younger ones. So there must be people here now that weren't when she was here, so people have been born, but she said she met them before they came here because they were with her. But I don't want to do that. She says she has the children that went. So there are children around the family that have gone to spirit, and she's got the children, but I feel those are children that she would have been like that with children down here. She loved children. She loved that new life around her, that energy, and she fed off that, and she's just saying she's feeding off their energy because they're with her. All right. My throat is really dry and really sore at the moment, so there are things that are in your throat, sweetheart, that you want to get out, but it's like, no, because if I go, I'll be like Vesuvius. And she's saying, choose your words and choose your time, sweetheart, but say what you need to say. Stand up for yourself, get it off your chest. You will feel better for it. If those people don't like it, tough. That's the door. Don't let it hit you on the posterior as you leave, is what she nearly said, but in quite a different way. All right. I'm not getting much else from a sweetheart, but I've got to, I don't know. I'm asking for a nice thing to finish with, and I'm getting daisies. I'm sorry, I wanted some nice flowers or something, but daisies must be significant. You either made daisy chains with her or the name Daisy's around you somewhere, but I've got to leave you with a daisy, sweetheart. Okay. I want to see grandchildren, granddaughter. Bless you. Thank you. Congratulations on the grandchildren.
Yeah.
I have grand kitties.
Grand kitty. Yes, you do.
Ben has kitties. Yes, I've got two little kitties. cheese and mayo.
Oh, I love that. Wonderful, wonderful, brilliant. Yeah. Well, thank you for allowing us to work for you,
bless you,
Jacqueline.
thank you. It's always a privilege.
And thank you to Tony Swindell, who is a dear, dear friend and founding Bishop of the Independent Spiritualist Alliance, no less. Thank you so much for joining us today and making.
You're very, very,
light.
very, very welcome. I'm sorry I'm not Dawn, but there are big shoes to fill.
Bless you. No, you have your own shoes, mate. You really, really do. So
Helen, you've just noticed them, sweetheart. They're a mess. They're growing out. I need to get them filled.
He's not happy with them today, Helen.
I'm not feeling it.
He does. The first time I ever met them was
It was your mother-in-law. She didn't feel like a mother-in-law, sweetheart. She felt like a mother to me. So you must have been really close to her.
As I always remind people, and in actual fact, it's something that I forgot to say earlier. There's no in-law, step, or almost dad spirit. It's that emotion. Lisa, love you. You guys are so lovely with gratitude. Oh, bless your heart, Lisa. Thank you for coming on and let us work with you as well.
Yeah.
It has been an absolute pleasure and a privilege. Also, the lovely Jitka. Can we say goodbye to Jitka in the person? Lovely. Hello again.
Hi.
Who stayed for the show? No,
you suffered through it all.
No, it was lovely to stay. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's been brilliant. Love it.
And thank you again for such a wonderful, wonderful first segment of the show. And if anybody wants to have a look at what Jitka's doing, we've shared the ways of finding her. So do go and have a look at the work she's doing. Tony, before Friday, have you got anything that people might be interested in going on?
No, I haven't actually. I'm busy with the other projects I deal with this week. We've got loads of meetings to try and get things in line. But at some point, I am going to jump on and do a live. I don't know when it's going to be. So Tony Swindell's Medium on Facebook, you'll get the notifications.
Eyes out for that one. And of course, don't shine your light under a bushel, mate. The work you do with the Rainbow Project is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
The Rainbow Project Rotherham has been a huge influence in my spiritual development, as much as it has been a huge influence in helping other people get through difficulty. So keep up that good work as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And thank you all. Thank you to the lovely Richard, who has been keeping us on the straight and narrow, so to speak, throughout the show. We do make his life, I certainly make his life very difficult sometimes. But thank you, of course, to Richard. And I once again concur with the sentiments of everyone on earlier. And thank you, of course, everyone at home, all over the world.
Indeed.
Over the world, who's been joining in and of course, come back 8 p.m. tonight on SPtv on Facebook, SPtv on YouTube, SPtv, the website, for the beautiful Matt and Kirsty tonight at 8 o'clock. Oh, and we have an incoming information. How to tell a new segment on this show or Matt and Kirsty? Oh, on our show. Oh, do you know, I love this, because this is the second time in a month I've found out something new online, live. So we are having. Oh, but you have spoken about this before, Richard. In all fairness, you have been you've been wanting this for ages. How to eat healthy in 5 minutes is going to be a new segment here on Brighten Your Day.
Oh,
it's happening. Wonderful. Yeah. That's amazing. Oh, wow. I love it. So here's how it's going to roll, my lovely, lovely friends. The week before, we will tell you online what to buy. And then we will have an outside broadcast. We are going live over to said restaurant, and in 5 minutes they'll show you how to prepare those ingredients.
Oh, I so want to.
Stunning.
I so want to be involved with a bit of that. That sounds wonderful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, if it means that I've got a little camping stove out to join in and go along, forget it. Yeah, there you go. Yes, so Tony could be the studio presenter, the guinea pig. Yeah. Tony could be the studio presenter, preparing that for himself at the same time as they are showing us how to do it. Would you be up for that, Tony?
I think I might be. I do think I might be.
Excellent.
That sounds great.
Excellent. So we on this show, we love to help you in your lives. Shelley, yes, I agree. That's cool.
That is so cool. Yeah.
Today we've figured out how to make your kitchen good to work in, and coming soon you'll be able to cook something nice in it.
In your nice new feng shui kitchen.
Feng shui kitchen with your sense of belonging in your kitchen. Your body will feel the sense of belonging by the way you put something into it. Wonderful.
Well said.
Oh. I am planning on it, yes. I am planning on coming down to Waterlooville for the June SPtv Holistic Fair. Yeah. Wow. That would be awesome. So
it's a shame people can't hear what's just
I know, but Richard, we will relay that absolutely. An actual live Brighten Your Day at Waterlooville.
Oh,
with hello, Michael. He's gone. Bye, Michael. That's what he thinks of me. He says, no, I haven't got time to have one of our long-winded baits today. So yeah, do an actual live Brighten Your Day from Waterlooville with Tony, with Dawn, with guests, and cooking too. That would be awesome. Jitka, I know that it's a long way from the Czech Republic, but if you feel like it, come and join us too. You could rearrange that. You could come and help me and Richard put the chairs out this time. Make sure that the hall is feng shuied, because I was just chucking them everywhere and he was going behind me. Right. That was fun. But no, that's brilliant. So there's lots coming up in the future of Brighten Your Day, of course, with SPtv as well. So please continue to share, like, and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Richard's mission to bring spirituality and interest to the worlds in which we live. So thank you to Richard. Thank you to the lovely Jitka for a wonderful, wonderful chat earlier on.
It was.
Thank you,
really
my
fun.
good friend Tony, for coming
Bless
on,
you.
being my co-host buddy for the day. And we will be back together, of course, on Friday at 4.
We will, continuing a debate. If anybody out there's got anything they want us to
yak about,
go in depth about, then please drop one of us a message and we'll certainly go down that rabbit hole
again.
Yes,
as we frequently do. But for now, my friends, thank you all so much. And remember, and now we haven't practiced this, but we'll do what we can. The line is keep it SPtv. Don't tell them I've just told you that. After 3, 1, 2, 3. Keep it SPtv. Oh, not that.